I feel it's just a terrible deal. It's a terrible deal for the auto workers.
Today, the spotlight falls on a high-stakes moment in Canadian politics and global trade. Ontario Premier Doug Ford has publicly criticized Canada's latest trade deal with China, calling it a terrible deal that risks jobs, security, and the economy. The deal allows up to 49,000 Chinese-made electric vehicles to enter Canada while easing tariffs on Canadian canola seeds, a complex compromise that has reignited debates about priorities between provincial economies and national strategy. Ford's opposition stems from his concern for Ontario's emerging electric vehicle sector. He believes that allowing Chinese EVs at a reduced tariff could threaten well-paid provincial jobs and give foreign interests a foothold in Canada's market. Speaking at multiple events, Ford voiced his disappointment over the way the deal was communicated, noting that he received only a few hours' notice before Carney's government announced the reduction in EV tariffs. He pointed to Minister of Internal Trade Dominic LeBlanc as the intermediary, rather than the Prime Minister himself, as the bearer of the news. "I'm disappointed because we had such a great relationship," Ford said. "And I look forward to continuing the great relationship, but it's all about communication, collaboration, and partnership. At least I know where I stand, though." His words underline the tension between Ontario's industrial concerns and the federal government's broader diplomatic and trade strategy. Carney's approach, by contrast, emphasizes the bigger picture. He chose to bring Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe to China with him, signaling support for agricultural interests that have been strained by retaliatory Chinese tariffs. Saskatchewan has faced significant economic pressure in recent years as China imposed levies on canola, lobsters, peas, and other exports in response to Canadian trade restrictions. By prioritizing dialogue with Beijing, Carney aimed to secure relief for Canadian farmers and rebalance trade relationships, a move that Ford sees as sidelining Ontario's EV sector. The deal itself is structured to balance competing interests. Canada agreed to allow up to 49,000 Chinese electric vehicles to enter the country at a most favored nation tariff rate of 6.1%. By 2030, half of these imported vehicles are required to be priced under $35,000, a measure designed to make EVs more accessible to Canadian consumers. At the same time, Canada negotiated a significant reduction in canola seed duties, dropping them from 84% to 15% by March 1. This also includes lifting anti-discrimination tariffs on Canadian canola meal, lobsters, crabs, and peas until at least the end of the year. Carney described the agreement as enormous progress, framing it as the start of a new partnership, a new era, with China. He stressed that Canada's strategy is interest-based, realistic, and focused on results rather than symbolism. In other words, Carney's aim is to ensure that Canada secures tangible economic benefits while managing risks in international relations. Ford, however, sees the move differently. Speaking to delegates at the Rural Associations of Municipalities of Ontario conference in Toronto, he warned of potential risks to domestic security. He went so far as to raise concerns about Chinese surveillance through imported vehicles, painting the deal as a compromise that favors foreign interests over provincial workers. "I'm not too sure if President Trump wants Chinese spy vehicles coming across the border, but I bet the answer is no," Ford said. He even described scenarios where Canadians' conversations could be monitored through these vehicles, remarks that captured media attention and fueled political debate. The tension between Ontario and Saskatchewan reflects a broader challenge for Carney. As Prime Minister, he must balance regional interests while navigating the complexities of global diplomacy and trade. Ontario's concern over EVs and industrial protection contrasts sharply with Saskatchewan's urgent need to relieve the strain from Chinese retaliatory tariffs on agriculture. By including Premier Moe in the delegation to China, Carney signaled that Ottawa is listening to both provinces, even if the optics appear to favor one over the other. Critically, Carney's strategy at this juncture emphasizes long-term stability over short-term political gains. While Ford frames the deal as a disaster, Carney frames it as a calculated effort to open a new chapter in Canada-China relations. The reduction of canola seed tariffs alone marks a significant victory for Canadian farmers, potentially revitalizing a sector that has struggled under punitive levies. This strategic patience reflects Carney's background in global finance and crisis management, where measured, data-driven decisions often outweigh immediate applause. Beyond the provincial clash, the deal has implications for Canada's global positioning. By engaging China directly, Ottawa signals that it can protect its domestic industries while remaining open to dialogue and trade. Carney's emphasis on affordability in the EV sector, setting a price threshold to ensure half of imported vehicles are under $35,000, demonstrates a nuanced approach. Canada will open its market, but it will do so responsibly, balancing consumer benefits with industry protection. The response from Washington also matters. U.S. policymakers have historically scrutinized Canadian trade decisions, especially those involving China. By negotiating a deal that balances Canadian agriculture and consumer markets, Carney may mitigate potential frictions with the United States while asserting Ottawa's strategic autonomy. It's a tightrope walk, and Carney's careful diplomacy underscores why he is often seen as one of the most credible voices on global economic matters. At the heart of this agreement is a broader lesson in leadership. Navigating competing interests requires vision, communication, and the courage to prioritize the long-term good over immediate political expediency. While Ford's public objections generate headlines, Carney's work behind closed doors may yield results that strengthen Canada's economy, enhance trade stability, and reassure international partners. As the deal rolls out, key metrics will define its success. Canadian consumers stand to gain more affordable EVs, Canadian farmers see reduced tariffs on essential exports, and Ottawa solidifies its standing in global trade negotiations. Carney's approach reflects a principle that often goes unnoticed in headlines: economic diplomacy is as much about quiet strategy as it is about public announcements. The optics of the debate are dramatic. Ford's vocal criticism contrasts with Carney's measured communication, creating a narrative that captures attention both domestically and internationally. But beneath the surface, the deal represents a delicate balance of priorities: provincial interests, national economic strategy, and global diplomacy. Carney's experience ensures that Canada moves cautiously yet decisively, securing tangible benefits while managing risk. Ultimately, the Canada-China EV and canola deal is a microcosm of the challenges modern leaders face. Global trade, regional politics, and international relations are intertwined. Decisions that impact one sector ripple across economies, political alliances, and public perception. Carney's leadership at this juncture demonstrates the importance of foresight, credibility, and careful negotiation in navigating these complex waters. This moment will be remembered not for partisan clashes, but for the outcomes achieved through calculated strategy. Ford's opposition ensures scrutiny, debate, and accountability, but Carney's calm and methodical approach aims to deliver real, measurable benefits to Canadians. It is a reminder that leadership is often tested in the tension between immediate backlash and long-term gain. As Canada moves forward, the focus will remain on implementation, ensuring that EVs enter the market responsibly, that agricultural tariffs are reduced as promised, and that the broader Canadian economy benefits from this new era of trade engagement. Carney's vision is clear: protect Canadian interests, promote economic growth, and engage the world with confidence and competence. And while headlines may highlight outrage and dissent, the real story lies in the strategic work happening behind the scenes, shaping Canada's economic future with precision, pragmatism, and foresight.